Of many races mentioned in Dharmic scriptures, Rakshasas often hold an important place. They are generally described as malevolent beings, prominently featuring in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and to some extent, even in Islam. As per the scriptures, they reside on earth and possess supernatural powers which they often use to disrupt Vedic rituals and sacrifices. Sometimes the term Rakshas is also used to refer to Asuras, who are another race of beings in Dharmic traditions. However, for the purposes of this video, we will not be using the term Rakshas to denote Asuras, as there is enough literary evidence to support the conclusion that Rakshas and Asuras are two completely different races. Let me know in the comments if you'd like a video on differences between these races or a general overview of all the major races mentioned in Hindu scriptures. Coming back to the topic, as mentioned earlier, Rakshasas are often depicted as evil beings in Hindu scriptures. The term Rakshas first appears in Rig Veda, which is considered as the oldest scriptures of Hinduism. In the Vedic context, Rakshasas are often described as malevolent spirits or beings who disrupt rituals, harm humans, and create chaos. They are associated with darkness, ignorance, and disorder. In the Vedas, Rakshas are not depicted as distinct race, but rather as supernatural entities or forces of evil. They are often portrayed as enemies of the Devas and sages who perform rituals to ward them off. For example, the Mandal 7, hymn number 104 of Rig Veda describes Rakshas as beings who steal offerings meant for their gods, cause diseases, and spread fear. They are often linked to Asuras as well, and sometimes to the extent that there is no clear distinction between them and the Asuras. Many Vedic hymns and rituals are dedicated to protecting individuals and communities from Rakshas. For instance, the Atharva Veda contains spells and incantations to ward off Rakshas and other malevolent forces. Deities like Indra and Agni are often invoked to destroy Rakshas and protect the cosmic order. While the Vedas portray Rakshasas as primarily evil spirits, their characterization evolves significantly in later Hindu texts. The Vedas and the earlier Puranas depict Rakshasas as shape-shifting, fierce-looking, enormous, monstrous-looking creatures with two fangs protruding from the top of the mouth and having sharp, claw-like fingernails. They are shown as being mean, growling beasts and as insatiable man-eaters that could smell the scent of human flesh. Some of the more ferocious ones were shown with flaming red eyes and hair, drinking blood with their cupped hands or from human skulls. These representations are similar to descriptions of vampires in later Western mythology. A few scholars like Romila Thapar suggest that Rakshasas would represent exaggerated supernatural depictions of demonized forest dwellers who were outside the caste society. However, in the majority of Puranas and the epics, Rakshasas are depicted as distinct race of beings, often with human-like qualities, complex personalities, and sometimes with even noble traits. They are no longer just chaotic spirits, but are given detailed backstories, lineages, and moral complexities. One of the best examples is Ramayana, where Ravan, the primary antagonist who abducts Sita, is also depicted as a learned scholar and devotee of Lord Shiva. On the other hand, his brother Vibhishan, whom we'll be discussing later, is depicted as a virtuous Rakshas who sides with Lord Ram and aids him during his war against the evil. The evolution of Rakshas from malevolent spirits in the Vedas to complex characters in later texts reflects the dynamic nature of Hindu scriptures. Scholars suggest that Vedas focus on maintaining cosmic order and rituals, so Rakshasas are portrayed as forces of chaos that must be subdued. However, the later texts like Ramayana and Mahabharata explore deeper philosophical themes such as the nature of good and evil, dharma, and the complexity of human or even non-human behavior, eventually giving space to more nuanced portrayals of Rakshasas. The Puranas also mention Rakshasas in two light of good and bad. For instance, chapter 5 of the Vishnu Puran deals with the story behind creation of Rakshasas. Sage Parasar, while explaining about creation to Maitreyi, states, "The creator god Brahma, in a form composed of the quality of foulness, produced hunger, of whom anger was born, and the god put forth in darkness beings emaciate with hunger, of hideous aspects and with long beards. Those beings hastened to the deity. Some of them explained, 'O preserve us,' were thence called Rakshasas, where the root word comes from Raksha, which means preservation, while others who cried out, 'Let us eat,' were called Yakshas, which means to eat." This verse from Vishnu Purana draws two primary conclusions. First, the creation of Rakshas was intentional, and second, not all Rakshasas were evil. Throughout Hindu scriptures, Rakshasas have assumed various roles, both good and evil. Today, in this video, we explore some of the good Rakshasas from the Hindu mythology. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. I look forward to your comments and suggestions about the content I post here. As an independent and full-time content creator, I need your help to run this channel. Please share this channel with your friends and family. You can also support us by following us on Instagram. The link is in description. Number 1. Vibhishan. He is one of the most famous Rakshasas from Ramayana. He is depicted as the righteous and noble brother of Ravan who abducts Sita and set the stage for great war between good and evil. Unlike his brother Ravan, Vibhishan was a devout follower of Dharma and a staunch devotee of Lord Ram. When Ravan refused to return Sita, Vibhishan left Lanka and joined Ram's army. His knowledge of Lanka's secret and his unwavering devotion played crucial role in Rama's victory. After Ravan's defeat, Lord Ram crowned Vibhishan as the king of Lanka, symbolizing the triumph of good and righteousness over ego and greed. Number 2. Hidimba and Ghatotkacha. In the grand tapestry of Mahabharata, Hidimba and her son Ghatotkacha stand out as fascinating characters who blur the lines between conventional notions of good and evil. Often labeled as Rakshasas, who are typically depicted as malevolent demons, they defy these stereotypes through their actions, loyalty and compassion, earning them a unique place in the epic as good Rakshasas. Hidimba is depicted as wife of Bhim in the Mahabharata, which also raises the question of potential marital alliances between humans and Rakshasas. Ghatotkacha, on the other hand, was Hidimba and Bhim's son. His defining trait was his unwavering loyalty to the Pandavas. He vowed to come to their aid whenever called, a promise that he kept throughout their exile and even into the Kurukshetra war. He was so formidable in the battlefield that even the greatest of Kaurava warriors feared him. Number 3. Prahlad and Mahabali. Prahlad and Mahabali are both iconic characters from ancient Indian scriptures. Prahlad hails from Rakshas lineage and is son of Hiranyakashyap. Hiranyakashyap was a fierce adversary of Lord Vishnu who ruled by brute force. But it is believed that Prahlad was inclined towards Vishnu since he was in his mother's womb. It was Narad's stories and glories that he sang of Lord Vishnu that made Prahlad a devout follower of Lord Vishnu. Similarly, his grandson Mahabali became one of the greatest kings to ever exist. While he was a Rakshas, yet he was just, compassionate and kind. He defeated Indra and established his realm in all the three lokas, that's earth, heaven and the netherworld. His reign, however, alarmed the Devas who sought Vishnu's aid to reclaim their celestial throne. Vishnu descended as Vamana and approached Mahabali during a grand sacrifice. He requested 3 paces of land from Mahabali. When Mahabali agreed, the Vamana revealed his cosmic form, covering the earth and heavens in 2 steps. With no space left for the third, Mahabali offered his head, bowing to Vishnu in an act of humility and honor. Pleased by his integrity, Vishnu spared him, granting him rule over Sutal, a netherworld realm, and promised to return annually to earth, which is celebrated as Onam in Kerala. There are many other Rakshasas in Hindu scriptures who showcase varying degrees of morality and are aware about the consequences of their actions. These include Rakshasas such as Kumbhkarna, Trijata, Bakasur, etc. In Hindu scriptures, we see the complexity of characters evolving throughout. The depiction of Rakshasas is not monolithically evil. Sometimes they embody shades of virtue, loyalty, or redemption, reflecting the broader theme that are defined not by mere stereotypes associated with them, but by their inherent good nature. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please share your thoughts in the comments. Leave a like if you learned something new. Share it with your friends. Until next time, thanks for watching.